Hi and welcome back. My name is Emily and I'm so glad that you wanted to stop by today. I'm sharing today one of my most favorite cars that I have been creating in a while, and I would say that this is an interactive car, but it was so easy to put together, and I would say you don't need any special die to create this. The dies and stamps that I used for today was the Center Stage Slimline die, and I would recommend using it, but you can probably come up with something else. And I used the Cirque stamp set and coordinating dies, and I just love that stamp set from Trinity Stamps, so check those out. So I used some satin specialty paper from my stash, and I cut out the curtains for my stage. So these are actually meant to go across a slimline panel, but you will see that I will use these on an A2 size card today. You actually saw the card that we will create today in the beginning of this video. So I just wanted to show you some of the fun elements that comes in this special die set. And this is all the audience that you will get, and you can put them together in a lot of different ways. I will link down below or up in the right corner here to a video where I created a close-up video for this particular die set, and you will also see an image there with some suggestions of how you can put all of these characters together. So let's get into the card making. I actually decided to pre-color all my images, as you can see here on screen, and I cut them out with the coordinating dies so I would save some time. So here is my card base, and I just took a circle die that I had in my stash that I could see would fit my swinging girl there, and then I took a clear straw that I just got on some recycled like plastic, and then I used a strong adhesive before I did that and adhere my girl into those plastic straws. You can see here I'm just using glossy accent. You could use what it's called, like liquid glue that is hot liquid glue, I forgot the name, and do that if you would like. So while that is drying, I will create a black panel for my front here, and I will just pop that circle in place once more and run it through my die cutting machine, and you will see that I have that black cardstock in the perfect placement, and then I can use this later on and adhere it to my front panel. You can see that those fits perfectly. But before I'm doing anything like that, I wanted to make sure that my girl was swinging here across my panel. So I'm taking some, this is some fishing twine, I believe you can say so in English, and I am just making sure that she is swinging across my panel here and that her hair isn't interrupted by the down part. So you can see I took my straw and I threaded my thread between those like straws here. I hope it makes sense, and that is my mechanism for my swinging part here. So you can do this in a lot of ways, but this was just a way that I wanted to try for today's project. You can see that it works really well here. She is swinging. And then I wanted to work some more on our background here for our scene. So I laid everything out so I know exactly where I needed to put my stage. And when I was happy with that, I will go ahead and glue that down. For my, I don't know if you can say drop curtain or curtains for my stage here, I will use a combination of just gluing them directly down, and for my top part I will use some dimension tape just to create a little bit more of an interest look here. So I know it looks quite funny right now, but you will see in a second here when the curtains get in place that everything will start to get in like place. So this part I would actually skip. At this point I thought these images were coordinating, but you can see here that they aren't. So I I will suggest that you don't do this part because I ended up cutting away some parts of it. And here you can see I am keep working on my stage here. So for my down part of my stage, I cut it out with the same cardstock as I used on the other one, and that is just some natural like cardstock that I had in my stash. I believe it's Nina Desert Storm or something like that. And to mix it up and make it a little bit darker, I used Vintage Photo Distress ink, and then just cutting away the excess there. So that is our card coming together. So for the show, I realized that I didn't just want her to be in the focus. I wanted some more action. So you will see that I will play around with some of the other characters that comes in that particular stamp set. And you can also check out for some of the other Trinity Stamps products that was released with the same theme. I think they would make an excellent show as well, so make sure that you are looking for them as well. If you don't want to copy this card exactly but do something similar, I think they would be fun to pop on this stage as well. So here's that little guy. He will be juggling some I don't know what it is, if it's some balls or if it's some apples, I don't know, I think it's balls, but you can play around and maybe find images from other stamp sets and decide to create something other that he can like throw around. So I use some dimensions here, and for one of them I just wanted him to look like he had 3 balls in the air, so I took some clear plastic and I will just hide it behind him and then pop the last one of them up on that one. So you can see here I'm just popping that up and making sure that my little girl still can swing. So I'm moving this around until I get a good placement because I don't want to lose that element. And for me it wasn't just that she would move, that was the big thing. I wanted, when this card was like standing up, I wanted her to be floating inside of the card. And I thought that was a really fun element. So here I'm just taking a piece, making sure that I am in the center of that circle because I wanted it to look like she had this bright light and she was the highlight of the show. So I wanted it to be some glow behind her, like she was the main act here. So I'm going ahead, making sure that I am keeping the intensity of this yellow color towards the middle and fading it out towards the edges, just to make the light look like it's hitting her, and then it's like white light around it, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. And then you can see I put my audience together, and I hope it doesn't look like they are floating in the air because I wanted it to look like their shares was there and then it was like black everywhere else. So I think I'm quite liking how it looks, but you could always play a lot around with the placement and mix this up if you wanted to create something similar. What I like about these are that they are meant to look in different directions, which really makes this come together and be a fun element for your card. So for my sentiment for this card, I didn't want to ruin this panel, so I actually didn't put a sentiment on this particular card. I think when it's time for me to mail this out or give it away, I probably will put a personal sentiment on the inside for the recipient. Because I told you, like, this is one of my favorite cards that I have created in a while, so I didn't know exactly when I was going to send this out or to who I was going to send this out, so I really wanted to wait with the sentiment. And that is also a tip if you're not, like, if you're loving your card and you don't want it to be ruined by a sentiment that you maybe not liking when it's time to send out, wait with the sentiment. You have this really nice card that you know that somebody will really like to have on display or have in their like home on the fridge or whatever. So you don't always have to put a sentiment, and just keep that in mind when you're picking this card out, that you have to put something on there. So I hope you really like this card. I know I'm a big fan of this one and all the products that I used. If you also like this, please give this video a thumb up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. And until next time, have a great day. Bye!